So it's just after 8 p.m. Friday, 2nd of October 2015. I've got the keys from 4 Gardenia Street from Mum. I just went and visited up in the hills. Me and Laura were there, had a bit of a chat. And I got the keys because I came to get the TV, which I'm taking, on the big TV, in exchange for transfer some of Grandpa's train videos onto like video files on the computer. And yeah, I think this is, I don't know for sure, but this is probably the last time I'll ever be in this house ever in my life. This house that's always been in my life the whole time I've been alive. My nan and grandpa have lived here. Had so many Christmases here, birthdays, get-togethers, stayed here on holidays in the years in Melbourne when we used to come down mid-year and end of year, a couple times a year, stay here for a week. Yeah, I thought I'd just record a few reflections on the place. So I've just eaten McDonald's at the old breakfast table. Used to come out here in those holiday days and Mum and Nana would be in their dressing gowns. Nana would normally be at the seat I'm filming now, in a red dressing gown. And Mum would be in the other seat, I think in a blue dressing gown. And I would sit in this seat and say, I'm here to catch up on the gossip. And I'd sit there and listen to them. I think it sort of influenced a little bit the way I relate to women. I'm happy and easy sort of chatting with women. I don't consider it boring. I'm not a male like that. But yeah, I remember that, and yeah, we used to sit here and Grandpa would squeeze the orange juice in the mornings at the bench there. Yeah, I always remember sitting in that chair and discussing in 1990 when we were down here on the holidays and they'd killed Superman in the comics, and of course I was a comic freak growing up, and seeing Grandpa standing over there and there's sort of the note of disappointment in his voice, like that's one more good thing gone from the world, that they've killed off Superman. And one day he asked me plaintively about his childhood superhero, does Mandrake still get a run? And you know, basically no one ever talks about Mandrake, although I think the last appearance of Mandrake was at the Phantom's wedding in the 70s, but I just lied and said, yeah, Mandrake's still around. Well, maybe he is. Anyway, blah blah blah. I kind of like that there's food and stuff in the cupboard. Gives me the illusion that things haven't quite dissolved around here, because the packing up of Gardenia Street, to me, is in some sense like the dissolution of reality. It's like the lodestone, the touchstone, the cornerstone of my whole life. I think if this move had happened 5 years ago, or certainly 10 years ago, it would have devastated me. But now we're all much older, a lot has moved on. I'm heading towards 40. And I'm rather lucky to have even had so many years with stable grandparents in one house, in a loving, nurturing environment, with a well-stocked larder. I even love the old radio there, and like the beautiful old stove. It's like really like a classic 1950s house. I think maybe it was built in the 70s, but to me somehow there's sort of evocative of something about the 50s. Yeah, so I thought I'd just record a few thoughts. Yeah. What else? Let's move around a little bit. The old plastic cups still there. I think they were bought in the 60s. So these little plastic vessels, I mean, plastic really never does break down. I think they've done about 50 years already. Incredible. Set up for the auction. Classic chair. The radio used to sit on that bench there. Bay windows. Stereo TVs. The stereo with the vinyl player is coming to me at this stage of the game. I'm buying a bit of vinyl. I just bought a Frank Sinatra album the other day. She shot me down. I've been listening to Sinatra all year, just as I listened to Bob Dylan all of last year. And King Cruel. It's dark in here, but you can see it's room. Seats. All that. But yeah, so many family times in here. I mean, I've been in this house. You know, back in the day, I was in here with Daniel McCredden in like 1986 or 7, and then there was a time in like 99, 2000 when Nana and Grandpa were away, and I had the key so I could come in and use the computer as study. And me and James and Podge sat in these chairs and watched the treble Manchester United video in here. Started calling it the Treble Hotel. Those are fun days in Blackburn with the three of us sort of running around like the Marx Brothers or the Beatles or something. Crazy young men on the run. Good simple days in between time between being out of school and before serious work. We sort of lived the kind of simple poverty where a whole day would be spent, you know, just kicking a ball, playing table tennis, walking to the shops, getting a big M, walking all across Blackburn and so on. But yeah, used to come here and bring bakery pies and stuff and have lunch with them. So many family dinners, of course. Yeah. I never really ever went into the laundry up here. I think I've been in this room literally like 2 or 3 times in my life. You know, onto the porch there, and out into the garden, and there's rose bushes. Can't not film the toilet. The famous bears on the back door. Classic old bathroom. I remember in the 80s I had one of the little hippopotamus like wind up toys that you put in water and it swims. Photo of me and the others down. Games, old den, old books and things. I've already grabbed a couple of mementos, a couple of books and things from out here. And I stole the doll that does all the funny, my feet are moving closer, and all those things. I think the filming here is really great, but I'll give you an idea. A passing picture. And this room to me was always the most peaceful room in the world. I always wished I could sleep in here, study in here, seek refuge in here in you know, difficult times of life. And Jodie and Megan used to sleep in this room, and we'd come down and I would sleep on the couch out there. And we used to have old brown couches, and mine was against the wall over there. And that was fine, but always a slight feeling of longing to sleep in here. And a couple of times eventually, more recently, I did sit in here and do a little bit of writing. But yeah, the chamber of peace, really. Refuge from the world. Can't really see much out there. But yeah, this place has been a refuge for me. Not really. I needed such things growing up sometimes, but I don't need it now. I remember, I think it was in 2008 when everything was going really badly, and they knock down the house next door to this, and the side of the garage appeared grazed as though it had been, you know, the nothing, the mythical nothing, the cloud of destruction from the never-ending